some science abandoned in orbit of the moon. So my goals for today are to retrieve that science and then to land on and return from Minmus. Sounds simple. Might not be. So first thing, we've got plenty of new research we can do here, which might help us. Yeah, I'll take that. You make some different ships and have more access to EVA science that way. Better landing gear. You know, I think we can research just about all of this. Nope, there's one we can't get. I'll take that one. And this one will be useful for smaller craft like satellites. So I'll take that. I don't plan to build any airplanes anytime soon. I'm not the biggest fan of airplanes. I find their utility to be limited. They're fun, but they're not very useful. Now, we can do that. Science data from space around Kerbin. Yep, we can do that. Let's see. Surface outpost on Minmus. 5 Kerbals, 2 pilots. Docking port and generate power. That's pretty easy. We could do that. Not today, but we could definitely do that. And, oh, we've got a rescue mission here. Yeah, we'll rescue him. Expand our astronaut pool. Kerbinaut. Let's see. 2,000 units of liquid fuel on the moon. Yeah, we could still do that pretty easily. And we got Januki in orbit of the moon. I'm not sure I plan to return to the moon right now, so let's skip that one. Okay. Now, that's what we'll do. We'll bring the grasshopper back from the moon, and we'll use that to rescue Amal, and then we'll send another ship up, transfer the science in Amal, and bring it back. That's what we will do. All right, so here's the grasshopper. Plenty of Delta V left in here. And we're coming back to Kerbin. Pretty easy thing to do. Just want to make sure that you launch yourself out of the backside of the moon's orbit, and you'll reduce your altitude over Kerbin. So just like that. Fairly cheap. It's definitely cheaper for Delta V to get back from the moon than it is to go out to the moon. And time warp around. And I didn't set it for any particular altitude. I just set it to get us in a fairly high Kerbin orbit, which will make it much easier to intercept. What's that stranded guy's name? Amal. And ride this around to periapsis, at which point we'll bring down our apoapsis. Doesn't have to be perfectly circular, but it does make it easier to generate node planners. Node burn planners? What are they called? Maneuver nodes. That's it. if it's circular. And there is Amol's heap. And we are... Our inclination is relatively similar. Close enough, for sure. So let's just see if we can get a pretty decent intercept here. Oh, it's close. Not quite, though. And what does that put us at? 2.4 kilometers. Let's see if we can bring that in a little bit. 2.7. 2.5. It's hard to move it in these little movements. 1.9. I got my mouse sensitivity pretty high, so little tiny movements move it a long way. All right. That'll be plenty close enough. We'll get a good intercept on this. And yeah, I do just smash my keyboard buttons repeatedly because I want to make sure I got it. It's a habit. Definitely not necessary. 1.9. What did we really get? 1.6. That's better. I'll take it. All right. Make sure we select the target. And we'll want to match speed and velocity when we get to that target. Speed and velocity. Because those are different things. So what I'm trying to do right now is intercept this wreck and rescue this Kerbin. And then once I've done that, that Kerbin can rescue the science data that I abandoned on this ship on accident. All right. So right now we're intercepting. That's pretty close. They won't be able to dock together. The other one's just a wreck. I haven't seen it. This one has a docking port, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. But it won't be able to dock. The other one I'm pretty sure is just a capsule, just a pod. We should be right on top of it. Trying to figure out which button it is to show it. I can't remember. But it should be right over. Oh, I see it. There we go. I don't want to collide with it. We'll coast in pretty close. And then I'll have to transfer. I think his name was Amol. I'll have to transfer him with an EVA pack. Apparently, that's my first rendezvous maneuver around Kerbin. Done it by the moon, but not by Kerbin. Okay. Now that's close enough. So yeah, it's just a lander can. Is there anything on it worth taking? Nope. Okay, it's dark, of course, so I can't see anything. Set that as my target. Turn on my lights. Engage EVA pack. And here we go. Sorry, it's dark. It's always nighttime when I'm doing this stuff. So this thing here I used to land on the moon and collect some science. There's a moonstone on there, which I need to bring back for a contract. And when I launched it, I forgot to transfer the moonstone over. So it was been just floating around the orbit of the moon. So my plan is to use AMOL here to grab that. And we're going to send up another ship to rendezvous here so he can land with that stone. Excuse me, I got a frog in my throat. Now, I haven't built that ship yet. I'm going to design it now. I'm thinking I'll go with something very simple for this. It's probably just a pod. And I'm not going to dock it or anything. We'll just do another EVA transfer. No science, just a pod, a parachute, heat shield. And there, that's the return vessel right there. Now, to get up there, and go something like that. And just something real simple. No. Let's see. It's too big. I'm thinking about putting a second one on, a second fuel tank here. How much fuel is in one of those tanks? 440, 360. Okay, yeah, we'll throw another one on. And then what do we have for engines for that size tank? Just the Bobcat? Okay, it'll get us there fast. I guess that's all right. These don't seem to be in any particular order. I can never remember which one's which, the decouplers. Okay, there's the ship. Now, do we want to give it any kind of... Yeah, we'll give it a couple of batteries. And that's it. Now it's good to go. Okay, and now to launch it to space, we need that and that. Maybe that's good enough. I don't know. Let's throw on one more fuel tank here. I'm not a math whiz or anything. I don't know. 32, 23. It takes, what is it, 2,600 meters per second to be in a stable orbit, something like that. And what did we have with just the one tank? 2478. That's probably good enough, actually. Yeah, that's probably good enough. Throw a couple of winglets on here for stabilizers. And yeah, I think we're ready to go. Make sure, oh, yep, almost made a mistake here. I need, I could put a probe core on here, or I could just change this out to a bigger pod. I think I'll just change it to a bigger pod. There. And then I'll just have a pilot go. Because I think that's going to be cheaper than putting on a probe core. Yeah, I think that should work just fine. Now, who's going to go rescue him? Valentina, you are. Yeah, that should work. Oh, parachute. Parachute would be nice. Put a little clown hat on there. And then put those batteries back on. The only thing I don't like about this pod is I struggle to remember where the door is. I think that one's the door, but it's not really indicated very well. Call this rescue pod. And the goal is just to go up, grab Amol and that science research, and then come back. And then we'll start working on our mission to Minmus. It looks really small. I hope this works. Okay, and we want... I do not want to meet up with the heap. I'm going to be stuck meeting up with the heap. Well, as long as they're still close. And we'll let it get a little bit closer here before we launch. About there. Might be good. Here we go. I'm expecting the delta V here to increase as we go, and should give us plenty. This will be almost all we need. We'll just have to do a small burn to reach a stable orbit. I think. Very simple rock. Trying to keep it cheap. About 9,000 meters, we'll start our gravity turn. Hey, I did a launch in the daytime. You can actually see it. That's pretty rare. Okay, and now we want to make sure we don't overshoot our target. Be a lot better with the mainsail engine. We'd have been there already. But this is going to work just fine. Yeah, we've got all the delta V in the world to do this. Okay, we actually want to bring it up. Wait. There. No, why are we spinning out? Oh, because I didn't put any SAS control on here. I forgot these pods don't have it built in. Okay. 4.3. We're gaining, not losing. It's no good. 5.9, 5.8. Okay, here we go. Let's bring that distance, that separation down as much as possible. Make life easier. 4.4. No, that's it. We'll just work with that. Not a perfect rendezvous, but it's close enough we can make it work. SAS module would have been nice. Reaction wheels. Now we just coast along and the closest approach, which is coming up here pretty soon. Right here. And we've got a significant speed difference, so I'm going to start burning now. All right, get a little bit closer. Bring this relative speed down to 0. At which point we can start burning towards the target. Overshot it a little bit. That's all right. And I have to burn the engine in order to move, which is no good. Okay. .4. Get a little closer. 0.3, 0.2, 0.1. All right. And we'll do the final approach with this one because it has a reaction wheel. You know, we're actually probably close enough. Rescue pod. Yes, there it is. And we are getting closer to it. So you go ahead and take that, grab all the stored data. And yep, moonstone analysis, there it is. And make your way to the rescue pod. Get this done, and then we can go to Minmus for the first time. I really like that they added navigation for the EVA suit. Okay, I should slow down. I get to talking and forget what I'm doing. All right, I think that's the hatch on top. Like I said, I have a hard time telling with these pods. I don't use them very much. Yep, that's it. There we go. Well, are you going to get in? Okay, and now we just deorbit. Like so. And we ride it down. Good job, Valentina. She's enjoying this. They both are. I wonder how long he's been stranded. And once we slow down enough, then we can deploy the parachute. Can't believe it. We launched in the daytime and we're going to land in the daytime. That's a first. All right. And we're good. I'll wait a little bit to deploy the chute so we're not watching it for so long. Oh, that was not the chute. That was the decoupler here. Okay. Things are exploding. I'm sure it's fine. Is that going to open? Yes. And that will fall away. That's money. I wish I hadn't done that. Boom. And now we're just in our ball. And we're going to roll down into the water. No? Hey, all right. No, yet. No. Here, can you give me some science? Nope. Okay. Mission accomplished. We got the science back. There we go. Now we can research the last thing in that tier, which gives us that pod's kind of fun. That's about it. I don't really like building airplanes much. So now we need to upgrade that. What does that give us? Oh, surface samples. Yeah, that's good. I'll take it. Did we get any new missions? Plant a flag on the moon. I'll take it. I won't do it right now. Science data from surface of the moon. Okay. A couple more rescue missions. I'm not going to do those right now. Adjust the moon probe. Should be able to do that. I'll take it. And let's look at our new guy. What was his name? Amal. He is an engineer. Okay. We'll find work for him in the future. But first, and I know I don't have a mission for this contract, but I want to go to Minmus. Science data from the moon. No, let's go to Minmus. That's what I want to do today. I want to land on and return from Minmus. And we could use the grasshopper for that. It would be able to do it. But it doesn't have the best track record. It crashed on the moon. From Minmus, I can land it in the flats. All right, we'll take the grasshopper and we'll land it on Minmus. And we'll take a scientist in here. Bob. It has a probe core, so it doesn't need a pilot. We get anything new that we can throw on there that's cool? Nope, no. Well, EVA experiments kit. That might be interesting. Give him one of those. We could set up a science station, but with only the one experiment, I just don't think it's worth it. Wait until we have all of them. We could upgrade the landing gear, but Minmus has an even lighter gravity well than the moon, and it was all right on the moon. So I think we're ready to go. I think this is fine. We'll just take the grasshopper and put it through its runs here. Bob. Yeah. All right, here's the grasshopper second flight. It's still offset, and that still bothers me. Second flight of the grasshopper. This time we're going to the moon. What are we going to call this one? Because we already have a grasshopper. So this one cannot also be the grasshopper. The ship type is the grasshopper. The ship name is what? The SS Kelly Clarkson. Yeah. I don't even know. I don't listen to her music. It's the only name I could think of right now. Okay. And we're on our way to Minmus. And another daytime launch. I'm on a roll. It's not a speed demon, that's for sure. But it'll get there. Change the orientation so when we eject those outer fuel tanks, they won't smash into the core. Are we gaining any altitude here? Yes. Slowly. But yes. Now, if the grasshopper has the same problem on this flight that it did on the one to the moon, I'm going to scrap the design and start over. Now, I'm willing to admit that that may have been user error, though, and not a problem with the design. but I'm only willing to admit that maybe that was my fault. So I'm just waiting to get up out of the atmosphere here. I'll probably go up to about 90,000 meters and set my apoapsis there and circularize at 90,000. Just give me some room to play above the atmosphere. Anything below 70 kilometers, and you're getting dragged from the atmosphere. So I want to go above that because I might lose some altitude before I'm able to successfully circularize. I don't remember how the grasshopper performed at this point. It's been a few days since my last play. Okay, 90,000. I'll just coast up to that. And at least this one has reaction wheels. So I can actually maneuver it without thrusting all over the place. Changing your ship's orientation while also changing its orbit and everything is just awful. Okay. We're here. Start our circularization burn or orbital insertion. Yeah, I'm starting to lose a little bit of altitude here. I'll change the angle of my burn. That should help some. There's a few different ways to get to Minmus because you have to change your inclination relative to Minmus in order to get there, because it's not orbiting equatorially around Kerbin. And it's more efficient if you do your transfer burn and then change your inclination while you're on your way out. But I don't know. I always goof that up. So I usually just do my inclination change while in LKO, low Kerbin orbit, and then do my transfer burn. It's not as efficient, but I feel like it's more controlled that way. So now I'm just circularizing. And the lower stage is burned out. Finish circularizing here. There we go. And now we'll set Minmus as our target. And that means we have to change our inclination by 6 degrees. Now I always remember descending node, it has a D, and the descending node on your nav ball has a dot. So the descending node is the dot node. That's how I remember. And then we'll warp around to that. Change our inclination. Very slowly. Bring that as close to 0 as possible here. And there we go. Okay, now give me just a minute here, guys. I got a phone call I gotta take. I'll be right back. I'll pause the game. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I am back. And let's pick up where we left off. For any of you that weren't around for the earlier streams where I explained, I am a farmer, so every once in a while I get a call I have to take. My computers call me and tell me when something's going on. So we'll get this done. We'll finish up these missions and then probably wrap it up, call it an early night so I can get out there and see what's going on. Now, okay, we got the descending node to 0. So now what I want to do is plan a maneuver to burn out to Minmus. And that would do it, but I don't want to crash into it. And right now we're interacting with the moon a lot. And that's not ideal either. Okay. There. That'll do. It doesn't need to be anything particularly beautiful. Just get there, land, and get back. Very basic stuff. Now, probably next stream we'll start work on maybe a space station or a ground base, or maybe do both, and drop a rover down on the moon. Yeah, we'll probably put a station in low Kerbin orbit and a rover on the moon. That's my goal for next time. Maybe work on that ground station for the moon for that contract. Apparently I missed my burn, but it's okay. I'm sorry, I was just looking at this number and it was confusing me. I think I'm tired, maybe. Well, we'll just burn along here, and we should encounter Minmus. Takes a minute, doesn't it? It is going. Now, the delta V costs to go to the moon and to go to Minmus are roughly very similar. It costs quite a bit more to get out to Minmus, but quite a bit less to land on it. Whereas the moon is much cheaper to get to, much more expensive to land on and get back from. There we go. We have a Minmus encounter. Now let's hope that our little antennae are strong enough to continue communication out here. Seem to be. Yeah, we seem to be just fine. Yep. Our orbital insertion burn around Minmus now. We have done our first flyby of Minmus. Yay. So let's get this this sorted out. And then we'll grab some science. And then we'll go to low Minmus orbit, grab some science. Then we will land, grab some science, and go back. All right, there it is. Now for science. Transmit that one right away. Okay, and then you can come out, do your EVA report. Can you reach that from there? Nope. Collect the data, restore, take the data, take the data, take the data and restore. So these can only be used one time, and then they don't work anymore unless you have a scientist restore them. And I'll take the data from here as well. And there. Now we can put new ones in. All right, and we'll coast along to the low orbit. We'll circularize there, and then we'll grab more science. We may lose connection. I'm going to do some burn now. Oh, I'm afraid of losing connection while burning. Well, he's not a pilot, but Bill can certainly... He can still operate it. Okay. Yeah, we've lost connection, but that's okay. Bill can do this. You got this, Bill. All right, that'll work. Now let's grab some more science. And click the right thing, maybe. Collect the data, restore the science. Or restore the equipment so it can do more tests. Because we'll use it again when we land. We're getting a lot of science from this one. Okay, and we want to land probably up there. Yeah. Yeah, something like that. And then come up here, and then we'll deorbit. We've got tons of delta V for this. Right there. Yes, I'm very happy with that. As you can see here, the distance above the terrain and the distance above sea level is the same because these dry lake beds are all at sea level and they're perfectly flat. They're really easy, nice places to land for your first landings. Now I'm going to ditch that lower stage here pretty soon. It's still got some fuel in it, but I don't want to carry it around with me anymore. So let's get everything we can get out of it. All right, we'll ride it down for another 500 meters or so, give it a final burn, and then say goodbye. You know, some people think that this moon is made out of mint ice cream. I wonder what does give it that green look. Probably the developers. Get rid of that. And we'll get ready to land. You know, it just occurs to me the grasshopper cannot cannot come back to Kerbin. I'll have to send another ship up to grab Bob and the science. That's all right. Well, that's gone. Well, at least it's not asymmetrical now. All the parts it was misaligned with are gone. We'll touch down very gently. Not tip over this time, I hope. There. And no tipping. Beautiful. Okay, it's still not wanting me to do that. I'll take care of that. In a moment, all I have to do is pull Bob out and remove the science and then put it back. And we'll swap. There we go. And did he do ZVA report? I don't remember. And just for the sake of convenience, I'll grab that stuff when we're in orbit. All right. Let's plant a flag. And we will call this Bob's Spot. Hey, we get money for doing that. Okay. Now I've got that science experiment. Let's check that out. Take a surface sample. Yes. No, don't transmit it. And then perform EVA science. And it's a golf ball. I bet that thing will go pretty far, Bob. Yeah, I think that's gone. And is there any green limestone around here anywhere? That would be awesome. We can go look. We've got a little bit of EVA fuel. I don't see anything, and we'd be getting pretty far from our ship. Let's just get back on board the SS Kelly Clarkson and head home. Well, we'll put him back on, but I think this is about a good spot to call it here. We'll get him tucked away inside the SS Kelly Clarkson. We'll have to bring her home next time. So, thank you for watching. I'm glad you could join me tonight. Hope you enjoyed the show, and I'll see you next time.